BOKASHI composting is a new way to handle kitchen scraps. There are a number of claimed benefits for this method, one of which is that it works very well in the home. In this program, I'm going to have a look at BOKASHI and look at the claims and figure out which are myth and which are true. To get started, you'll need a special BOKASHI bucket. This consists of a pail with a spigot at the bottom so we can drain liquids. You can buy them commercially for around $60 to $120, or you can make your own for about $20. The other important part of this system is a special sauce, the secret sauce to make it work. This is known as BOKASHI bran, or effective microbes. Of course, there has to be a sauce. That's how manufacturers collect money for you over the long term. But you can make this special sauce yourself and save some money. Probably a good idea the first time you do this to use a commercial product so you see how it works. The process is quite simple. You take your kitchen scraps and you put it in the pail. You put in some of the bran, close the lid. 3 or 4 days later, you put in some more kitchen scraps, some more bran, and so on. Every once in a while, you have to drain the liquid out of the system, or else it starts to stink really badly. And this drained liquid is called BOKASHI tea, and you can use it on your house plants to fertilize them, or so it's claimed. After a few weeks, when the pail is full, you close it up and put it away, and most people let it sit for a month or two to continue fermenting, or you can process it right away. Most people process it by taking it out into their garden and digging it into the soil, or adding it to the compost pile. Here are some of the claimed benefits of BOKASHI. 1. You can compost dairy products and meat. 2. No strong odors. 3. No nutrients lost. 4. No insects or rodents. 5. No turning necessary. 6. No need to worry about the amount of greens and browns. 7. Food scraps are inoculated with effective microbes. 8. Produces a nutrient-rich tea for plants. 9. Can be carried out on a small scale, which is perfect for apartments. 10. Very quick. The process is complete in 2 weeks. As you will see in a minute, some of these claims are true, while others are exaggerated, and some are not true at all. It is a simple system that can be done in your home, so if it gets you to recycle your kitchen scraps, it's a good idea. Let's have a look at this in more detail. Is BOKASHI a composting process? As you learn about BOKASHI, you quickly realize it is not a composting process. BOKASHI in Japanese means to ferment. This process is a fermentation process. What you are doing is turning your kitchen scraps into pickled kitchen scraps. At the end of the process, the food looks just like it did when it went into the system, except it's pickled. An orange looks like an orange, and an apple looks like an apple. There is no composting taking place in BOKASHI composting. Talk about false advertising. Once you have fermented your scraps, you then need to compost them. You can do this by adding them to a compost pile, or you can just dig them into your garden soil, where they will compost naturally. This system is highly promoted for apartment owners, but what do you do with it after fermentation? Throw it in the garbage. You could have done that before fermenting. The reason it only takes 2 weeks is that it is only the first step in making compost. How does BOKASHI compare to traditional composting? It's hard to compare the two techniques because they do different things. BOKASHI is better for meat and cheese, but you can also compost those things at higher temperatures. Both have odors, but neither is offensive if done right. It is true that you don't have to be concerned about browns and greens with BOKASHI, but it can be important once you compost it. The real difference between the two systems is that in BOKASHI, you add effective microbes, which are claimed to have benefits in soil and in BOKASHI tea. Composting uses just regular microbes. The BOKASHI process was invented by Dr. Higa, who also developed a special sauce that he called effective microbes, also known as EM. They are now available from numerous manufacturers. Adding the microbes is important since they control the fermentation process. The reason for doing this is that you want the right kind of microbes to grow quickly and outcompete the ones that will create a lot of bad odors. There are claims that EM is good for the garden. There are some studies that show a benefit from the microbes, but most show no positive results. As fermentation progresses, excess liquid drains into the bottom of the pail, which needs to be removed. It is claimed that this tea is a great source of nutrients for your plants. How nutritious is it? Some proponents suggest you can use it straight, while others recommend a dilution of 1 to 100. That is a huge red flag. A fertilizer that can be effective at full strength and a 100 dilution rate does not make sense. Some people have commented that it's a biology thing, not a chemistry thing, and so the dilution does not matter. They suggest nutrients are not important. It is the microbes that matter. But the science shows that adding EM to soil is not beneficial. There is very little published information about the nutrient levels in bokashi tea, which is odd since so many websites promote it. Based on the numbers I have found, bokashi tea contains very little nitrogen, some P and K, and low levels of several micronutrients. It also contains high levels of sodium and chloride, both of which are toxic to plants at low levels. Bokashi tea should not be used on container plants, and even in the garden, it should be diluted 1 to 100 before it is used to reduce any potential damage from sodium and chloride. I'm still not sold on this technique. It doesn't really compost anything, so you still need a separate composting process. The tea you collect isn't really of much value because it's mostly water. If you're going to take this bokashi material and put it out in your garden or the compost pile, then you might as well do that with the kitchen scrap. It saves a step. Now, in recent years, people have come up with a new way of handling this material. They use a system called the soil factory. Apparently it's making soil, which it's really not. What you do is you take some soil or some potting media and you mix it with the bokashi material and you let it sit for a while. After a few weeks, you have some material that looks like soil, and you can then use that for things like potted plants or out in your garden. All the soil factory is a way of making the material look as if it looks like soil. I mean, in 2 weeks, there's not a lot of composting taking place. And in fact, I came up with a faster way to do soil factory. Just take your kitchen scraps, put them in a blender, blend it for a minute, pour that into your potting media or soil, mix it up, and you're done. You don't even have to wait 2 weeks. Both bokashi composting and regular composting produce the same kind of material. Both are nutritious for plants. Both are composted kitchen scrap. I just don't see the value in this added step of doing bokashi. Now, if you're interested in doing traditional composting and you want to do it faster and better, have a look at this video right here. And if you want to know what is the best composting bins, piles, or drums, have a look over here. Happy gardening.